Hi, my name is Ryan Reynolds. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Consultants Realty and the real estate planning community at Keller Williams, here with today's real estate planning tip. So our tip has to do with 1031 exchanges, and if you don't know what a 1031 exchange is, feel free to check out my other video where I talk about what they are and how they're used. But suffice it to say, they're important for investors, and here are the top 3 tips. Tip number 1 is that you can only use a 1031 exchange for investment property or property held for productive or trade use. Now what that means is you cannot use it to purchase a principal residence, and you probably can't use it to purchase a vacation home. Talk to your CPA about that. There may be a couple of exceptions, but in general, that's tip number 1, investment property only. Tip number 2 is about the number of properties you can purchase when you sell in a 1031 exchange. And that number is 3, kinda. Well, 3 if you are purchasing more than the value of what you're selling, or an infinite number of properties if you're purchasing less than 200% of the property that you're selling. So in other words, if you sell property A for $100,000, you could buy an infinite number of properties as long as they didn't exceed $200,000 in total value. Similarly, you could sell property A for $100,000 and buy $1 million worth of property as long as it was less than 3 in total number. So that's tip number 2. Now, tip number 3 has to do with the timeline for a 1031 exchange. And there are a couple of pieces to this. Number 1, a 1031 exchange has to have those properties identified in step number 2 within 45 days after the closing date of the relinquished property. And that's a hard and fast rule. The second part of the rule is that you have to close on whatever properties you identify within 180 days of the closing date of the relinquished property. And when I say they're a hard and fast rule, I mean it's hard and fast in that if you don't honor those timelines, your exchange may not be honored and you'll probably have to pay the tax. Well, that's all I have for you today. As always, Ryan Reynolds with the Ryan Reynolds team and the planning community at Keller Williams Consultants Realty. Unlimited opportunities and exceptional experiences.